Good day to Doctor. My name is Yong Miki and my matric number is 280953. The plaintiff in this case is Bank Pembangunan Malaysia Berhad. The first defendant is Ibu Kota Realty Sanjuran Berhad. The second defendant is Loh Chia Hong. And the borrower is Ibu Kota Ductile Iron Pipe Industry Sanjuran Berhad. The both defendant is guarantors. Plaintiff gives the loan facility to the borrower and the defendant is guaranteed that loan facility. Due to the default on the loan facility, plaintiff sue the defendant to court to enforce the guarantee. There are two types of loan facility. The first is term loan facility. The second is credit facility. And the credit facility has three types, which is term loan 1, term loan 2, and the revolving credit. The purpose of term loan facility for the first type is helping the borrower partially fund the purchase of specialized machinery and equipment for its project. For the second type is term loan 1 to partially fund extra industrial machinery and equipment, term loan 2 to partially fund the expense of the TMB power substation, revolving credit to help partially fund the project's related raw material purchase. The borrower made around 128 million ringgit worth of arrears on the first and second facility as of 31st January 2017. Plaintiff lawyer sent out a notice of demand on 10 March 2017 requesting payment of the specified amount within 14 days of the notification date. The above notice of demand was never contested or objected to by the borrower, who also failed to comply with it. Plaintiff lawyer sent the borrower a notice of termination dated 16 May 2017, ending both facility immediately and requesting payment of the whole outstanding within 14 days of the notification date. Along with the above notice of termination, a same demand dated 16 May 2017 was issued against both defendants, who were the borrower's guarantors. The above demand and notice of termination were also never contested or objected to by the borrower or the defendants. The claims made therein were not made by the borrower or the defendants. Through a letter dated 17 March 2017 to plaintiff lawyer, the borrower lawyers tried to get plaintiff permission to hold all legal action against the borrower rather than contesting or questioning the notice of termination. Through a letter from plaintiff lawyer dated 24 March 2017, the request was denied. In conclusion, there are no issues asserted by the defendant are triable issues. According to the conditions and terms set in the security document and the guarantee agreement, all of the issues they raised have been specified in favor of the plaintiff. Thank you, that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Dr. Zunandi. My name is Mediana Kisina and my matric number is 272151. I'm going to present the question 2. What were the issues raised by the defendant? The first issue raised by the defendant is the defendant's content that involves of notice of demand and the notice of termination to the borrower. Plaintiff have failed to disclose the principles, methods of computation and the equal rate. The guarantor should be informed of the exact amount of the debt, including bank fees, if the debt is less than the amount of the guarantee. If somehow the debt exceeds the total of guarantee, the guarantor should only be informed that he is responsible for the exact amount of the debt, including bank fees. The next issue raised by defendants is plaintiff failed to notify them of the modification to the equal rate, which were made without their knowledge or approval. Research from Holden, a guarantor has the right to request information from the creditor regarding the amount for which they are responsible under the term of their guarantee at any moment throughout the guarantee's validity. If the lender, which is plaintiff, want to give an additional loan or change any condition in the security document or anything that causes an increase in the repayment amount made, even though it is still within the amount of the guarantee that has been signed by the guarantor, the financial institution, which is plaintiff, must notify the guarantor and obtain a written guarantee from the guarantor. The last issue that come together are the defendants claim that plaintiff should be held accountable for other securities that held and realized by P, and the appointed receiver and manager by plaintiff has not completely sold off the securities that were held. From research by Jason, a receiver and manager has all the powers of a receiver and also has the authority to conduct the company's trade or business. So plaintiff is responsible for ensuring that the appointed receiver and manager carries out his responsibilities to fully dispose of the securities held.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Nadia binti Azizan and my metric number is 273017. I will be explaining for the question 3. Does the plaintiff have the right to enforce the guarantee provided by defendants due to the loan facility being in default? The answer is yes. The plaintiff have the right to enforce guarantee. This is because guarantee is a legal contract that binds the guarantor to pay the debts of the borrower if the borrower fails to do so. According to the Section 79 of Contract Act 1950, a contract of guarantee is a contract to perform the promise or discharge the liability of a third person in case if his default. The guarantor in effect says to the plaintiff, if the borrower does not repay the monies in advance, I will. Therefore, plaintiff can take legal action and enforce the guarantee when the borrower does not pay back their debt. Based on the case study, the plaintiff provided the borrower with loan facility that was guaranteed by the defendants. As stated in the case study, as a condition for the borrower being extended the first and second facility, 2 joint and several guarantee agreements were executed by the defendants respectively in favor of the plaintiff. The terms of both guarantee documents are clear and the defendants are bound by them. Hence, plaintiff have the right to enforce the guarantee as it has both security documentation and guarantee documents. This is because in the agreement between the plaintiff and the defendant, it stated that the guarantor shall be liable for the guaranteed sum as principal debtor and not merely as surety. Furthermore, according to the case study, the borrower never disputed or challenged the notice of demand sent by the plaintiff and failed to satisfy the said notice of demand. A similar notice of termination was also filed against both defendants and were never contested by the borrower or defendants. Moreover, for the personal guarantee, the plaintiff can enforce the guarantee without first resorting to any other securities. Meanwhile, for the corporate guarantee, the plaintiff may enforce the guarantee regardless of whether any actions are proceeding or are being taken. In conclusion, the plaintiff has the right to enforce the guarantee provided by defendants due to the loan facility being in default. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good day to Doctor. My name is Hui Qin. The metric is 281-261. Now I will continue to present about the questions 4, which asks about if the plaintiff fails to inform the changing rates to the defendants, do the defendants have the rights to contest with the plaintiff or not? In my opinion, the defendants have no rights to contest with the plaintiff because of several reasons. The first reason is because the plaintiff having the rights to change the interest rate about the first facility and the second facility that agree with the borrower. And I believe that all the details and information about the first facility and the second facility will be stated or listed out in the contract that's signed by the borrowers before. So in my opinions, the borrowers have no positions to challenge the terms and conditions that has been agreed by the borrower before. Next is because the defendants did not raise objections or challenge the amounts that stated in the notice, which is the notice of demands and the notice of terminations when they receive them. So the defendants will be assumed that they have already understood or already agreed with the contents that stated in the notice, even if they are not revealed about it when they receive. So all in all, I think that the defendant still will fail to contest with the plaintiff because they have not very stronger explanations or evidence to prove that they have a fault that take place from the plaintiff. That's all for me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Isha Sin and my matrix number is 276874. Now, let us move to question 5, and I will explain about the types of the guarantees for Defendant 1 and Defendant 2 and their liability as principal debtor. The guarantee that executed by first defendant is corporate guarantee, while the guarantee that executed by the second defendant is personal guarantee. Corporate guarantee is a contract between a corporate entity, which is the parent company, and the debtor, which is the subsidiary. In this contract, the guarantor promised to be responsible for the debtor's obligation, such as a loan repayment. So when the company guarantees repayment of a loan issued to one of its subsidiaries, the company that executed the agreement promised that the loan will be repaid if the subsidiary defaults on the loan. Therefore, in this case, Defendant 1, the borrower's parent company, act as the guarantor that commits to perform the legal obligation by taking over the loan repayment if the debtor fails to do so. Personal guarantee refers to an individual's legal commitment to repay loans extended to a company for which he or she served as an executive or partner. So this guarantee classified as an unsecured debt for companies since they are not backed by the specific collateral from the company, but by the guarantor's personal assets. In this case, by providing a personal guarantees, Defendant 2 bears personal responsibility for the loan if the Ibu Kota Ductile Iron Pipe Industry SDMPHD, which is the borrower, is unable to repay it. It provides the creditor's legal right to all of the guarantor's pledged personal assets. However, in this case, both guarantees also contain indemnities. It is a contract by which one party promises to rescue the other from damage caused to him by the conduct of the promisor himself or by the conduct of any other person. Section 55 in the case study mentioned that the defendant's liability under the first facility and the second facility was agreed to be as principal debtor and not merely as surety. Therefore, the guarantees signed by the defendants for both facilities include an indemnity agreement, and the liability of the defendants is primary in this scenario. This is due to the principal debtor clause, which revealed the defendant's intention act as the guarantors to thereafter undertake the liability for debt repayment, not merely as sureties, but as principal debtors as well as indemnifiers. Last but not least, both defendants shall be liable for the guaranteed sum of first facility and second facility as principal debtors and not merely as surety. Their liability shall not be impaired, diminished, discharged, or affected by any variation or amendments to the ECOF rates from time to time. Regardless of whether the defendants have consented to it or have knowledge of the variation or amendments, any changes to the ECOF rates from time to time will bind the defendants. The liability also should not be apportioned to the other securities held and realized by plaintiff. And lastly, the defendants are liable to pay the whole outstanding sum as stated, together with interest as well as the cost of 8,000 ringgit to the plaintiff in this case. That's all from our group, and thanks for watching the video.